The book Robin Fogarty and I wrote on called Staff Room to Classroom is really, it came about from when we started our little company 10 years ago, that we were doing consulting. We were doing staff development around the country, and people came up to us after the workshops and they always said similar things. They said, I want to do what you do. I want to be a consultant. So we started a workshop called the So You Want to Be a Consultant. It was for all the wannabes. And at the beginning, no one could come to the conference because it sounded like they were leaving the district. So it says, because it sounded like you're going to become a consultant. So we changed it to So You Want to Be a Staff Developer. And we taught in a 4-day session how to be a staff developer, how to design, how to present, how to facilitate, and how to mediate or coach for transfer. And from that, we wrote a book on the adult learner, because the characteristics of the adult learner. And then we also wrote a book on a look at transfer. Because Robin Fogarty, my wife, her dissertation at Loyola University in 1989 was on how teachers transfer from the staff room to the classroom. Why do some people transfer easily, and why do some people have difficulty? So that whole seminal piece around the idea of transfer learning that has led into other kinds of enduring learnings, and how do we get the kids to transfer? How do we get kids to transfer strategies and concepts from one classroom or one grade level or one subject to another, which is really what we're talking about when we talk about standards. So from that, we did the adult learner, then we did a look at transfer, and then Corwin Press called us up and said, would you like to write a book around the whole thing, kind of pulling it together. So it really pulls together the 4-day workshop, the research on the adult learner, and transfer. And so it's a very user-friendly guide about how to, what we need to know about change theory, how change happens in schools, the adult learner. We always got to remember we're working with the adult learner. They're different than the kids. And then we talk about how to design staff development, how to become a better presenter, how to become a better facilitator of the group dynamic, and then finally how to coaching for transfer. So the book has been we've been doing the same subject for 10 years. The book has been out for about 1.5 years now, and it's been very successful because the teachers that are working for 20 years, 30 years, they've been very successful teachers, and now they've kind of been put in this position where now you have to work with your colleagues, or now you have to work with adults. You have to go from your school where you've been very well known as a teacher of kids, you cross the city and you walk into another school and say, I'm the expert now. And it's a tough one to do. So a lot of the teachers that we were talking to, we call them staff developers or mentors or lead teachers. They have all these different names in different districts. But one of the big issues for them emotionally is proving themselves. I'm now the expert of all of the teachers. I'm supposed to be the one that knows more about instructional strategies. So they feel like they have to show up with the biggest PowerPoint and the biggest 3-ring binder as a way of saying, oh, I've done all the work. And so one of the key things we tell them in the workshops, in the 4-day workshop, is always the number one thing is less is more. Less is more. Instead of coming in with that idea of I'm going to teach you 39 different things in an hour session, and the teachers are not going to be able to transfer 39 things. They may be able to transfer 1 or 2 things. So less is more. Come in with a couple of key ideas, give them a chance to work with it, give them a chance to plan how they might do it in their classroom, give them chances to plan that transfer, and then more likely, instead of bringing in 39 things and see 1 or 2 things transfer, you bring in 3 or 4 things and 3 or 4 things transfer. So that less is more is a huge aha moment for most staff developers we meet, who have realized that the whole time they've been trying to prove themselves by bringing the information, instead of realizing that for the adult learner, who's a very pragmatic, practical learner, you get your credibility by giving them an idea they can use the next day in class. And if they can use that idea the next day in class, the next time they see you in the hall, they'll say, give me another good idea. And that's the credibility piece. Well, one of the key things we say to them is, we're like the teachers. We like to say, the teachers are not responsible for what they teach. The teachers are responsible for what the students learn. And so we take the focus off the teaching and more on the learning. So as staff developers, we're not, our responsibility and our priorities are not on what we teach. It's on what the teachers learn and what the teachers do differently in the classroom. So that when we change that focus from us thinking that we're performing or us thinking we're covering stuff that we're supposed to cover, it's more about what is the evidence that I can see in classrooms. If I'm teaching a simple strategy for more guided reading, or a simple strategy to help the students write, and I'm teaching the teachers, I'm saying to the teachers literally, what is the evidence that I will see in your classroom? And when can I come to your classroom and see that evidence? So there's explicitly saying to them, there's going to be transfer. Could I come by on Tuesday? What time are you doing your reading circles? But Tuesday about 2 o'clock, I'll come by and we'll see evidence of it. Because so we get back to that idea, it's not just about what we teach the teachers. It's more about what the teachers learn and are able to do.